In this lesson, we're going to introduce the concept of a discrete random variable. So a discrete random variable is a variable, let's say x, which we don't yet know the value of, but we do know it can take certain values with certain probabilities. Now this value x can only take certain discrete values, so the values of x must be discrete. Now by discrete, what I mean in the most basic of terms, that I can list all the outcomes. So for example, if the outcomes were all natural numbers, I can list those like this. I'll be going on forever, but I can list them all. However, if I said it could take values in the interval 0, 1, there's no way I can list them because the interval is infinitely divisible. So they are discrete values, they're not. Those can be listed, those ones can't. And that leads us nicely on to the idea of a probability distribution. And what a probability distribution is, as a list or a rule associating potential outcomes with their probabilities. So for example, here we're asked to construct the probability distribution for a 4-sided spinner with the sides labelled 1, 2, 2 and 3. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this in sort of list, sort of table form. So little x is going to be the potential outcome. So little x can take one of 3 values. It can take 1, 2 or 3. Now a bit of confusing notation now. The probability that the variable capital X can take particular value x, and that's an important distinction. Typically in probability notation, capital letters are the actual variable themselves and little letters are potential outcomes. So the probability that the actual value of the variable is equal to this potential value of the variable, in which case 1 would be 1 out of 4. There's 4 different corners to the 4-sided spinner, one of which is 1. The probability of the outcome 2 is 2 quarters, 1/2. And the probability of the outcome 3 is back to being a quarter again. So we've constructed sort of a list, sort of a table of the probability distribution. So the potential outcomes, denoted by little x, and the associated probabilities, that is a probability distribution. It shows how the probabilities of the outcomes are distributed. And one thing to notice here, that the total of all the probabilities of the different outcomes must add up to 1. As you probably already knew, all probabilities add up to 1, which these ones do. So we can express a probability distribution in a different way, not just as a list or a table, but using a function. So here's such an example now. So write the following probability mass function in table form and hence determine the value of k. So a function that relates outcomes to probabilities is called a probability mass function, as you probably already guessed from this question. So let's have a look. I can see that x, the potential outcomes, little x, are 1, 2, 3 and 4. And the associated probabilities that the variable will take this particular value, little x, is equal to k, which we don't know, times the value of x. So this first one, k times the value of x, k times 1 is just k. K times 2 is 2k. K times 3 is 3k. And k times 4 is 4k. So there we've done it. We'll put the probability mass function, which is this here, in table form. And hence determine the value of k. Well, now we're going to use the fact that all probabilities add up to 1. So k plus 2k plus 3k plus 4k equals 1. So that means that 10k equals 1 which means that k equals 0.1. So there's not really that much to this topic. The only place that it can get a bit tricky, really, is when we make what are called multiple observations of a discrete random variable. So it says in the above situation, i.e. the one we've just done, two independent observations, x1 and x2, are made of the discrete random variable x, i.e. we roll this four-sided, heavily biased dice twice. It's asking the probability that x1 plus x2 is equal to 2, i.e. the probability of the first outcome, the result of the first roll, added to the result of the second roll, equals 2. Well, there's 4 outcomes, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the only way that the outcomes possible are going to add up to 2 is if the first outcome is 1 and the second outcome is also 1. That's the only way that both outcomes will add up to 1. If we spin it and it lands on a 1 the first time, spin it and it lands on a 1 the second time also. So the probability of it landing on a 1 is just k, which we worked out to be 0.1. So the probability here is 0.1, and then again another 0.1 equals 0.01. So the probability that we roll a 1 and then a 1 again from the spinner, and again it's a heavily biased spinner because not all outcomes are equally probable in this case, so the answer is 0.01. The probability that x1 plus x2 equals 4, so we've got to again think of all possible combinations that would lead us to the 2 outcomes adding up to 4. So we could have 1 and 3, we could have 2 and 2, or we could have 3 and 1, and that's all of them. So the probability of a 1 was 0.1, and then we roll a 3 times, so the probability of a 3 is 3 times k, 3 times 0.1, which is equal to 0.03. 0.2 times 0.2, the probability of rolling a 2 and then another 2 is 0.04, and then a 3 and a 1 again, 0.3 times 0.1 equals 0.03. Add them all up together, so 0.3 plus 0.04 is 0.7, plus 0.03 leaves us with 0.1. So the idea of listing all possible outcomes, that's what will allow us to solve these multiple observation problems. So have a go at the worksheet now, do every question, check every answer as you go.